Hi, lovelies. Welcome back to Jenny's Crowns Empire. And if you're seeing this channel for the first time, you're welcome. In today's video, I will show you how to cut and sew a professional looking shirt collar step by step. And it's very beginner friendly. And I want to say a special thank you to the 1000 plus subscribers. You guys rock. Let's get into the video. This is what I have. The next we're going to work on is our collar. So to get your collar, you're going to measure around your neck, the neck of your shirt. So go round and measure whatever you have, just put it down. So we're going to be drafting our collar on an interface. So I'll be making use of stiff neck. Some people know it as collar stay. So I'm going to be making use of it for my collar. So make sure you take your round neck measurement over and over again. So this is the stiff neck I'll be making use of. Whatever you have as your round neck, divide it into two. So you're going to fold this stay. At least it should be up to half of your round neck here. So I'm just going to pin this down so they will stay in a place. All right. So I'll put down a starting line here. So from this line, let me make it more visible. So from this line, I'm going to divide my round neck measurement by 2, then mark whatever I have here. And I'm just going to extend the line like this. Then I will come up here by 1 inch. Just measure this all the way. Then connect with your straight line like this. All right. So from this part, I'm going to go in by 1 inch. So I'm taking half of what I have here on my neckline, then I'll go up by at least 0.35. Just connect it to that center I have there, just to create a curve at the neckline there. Then I'm going to measure from this point here 2 inches upwards. Then from that 2 inches, just connect it to this line here. Then I'm going to go out by at least 0.5 inch. Then I'll connect it here. Just take note of what I'm doing. All right. So I'm just ensuring that I have 2 inches. Then here I'm going to go up by 1.5 inches to just connect like this. So I'll just come in from here by 0.25 here. And I'll blend it in to give me some sort of curve. So that is all for our collar. Very simple. This is the simplest way of drafting your collar. So just go ahead and cut this. So we'll be attaching the shiny part of this collar stay on the wrong side of our fabric. All right. You can choose to add your hemming gum to this so that it gives it extra hold, because sometimes the gum on this collar stay is not too strong, so you can add hemming gum if you want. So make sure you iron. Be patient with this. Just make sure you iron. After doing that, iron the right side of the collar. And this is what we'll have. We're going to go ahead to fold this in two. You saw how I folded it. So just fold it like this. I'm just going to adjust it a little bit here. Okay. So make sure you're working with your fabric should be like this. Make sure you're working with a fabric that is long and wide enough. All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and trim this off. So I'm opening up this part, then I'll trim off the excess part. Please take note of this part, okay? So I'm going to trim this, like to reduce it a bit, just a little bit, okay? So now I'll lift this side of the fabric that has the stay on it. So I'm just going to iron like this. You see what I'm doing? If you want, you can use hemming gum to make this to lay flat. So I'm just going to trim this a bit, a little bit, because it's a bit bigger than how I want it to be. So I'm just going to trim that, yes. So I'm going to add a little hemming gum, although you can decide to put, I just wanted to put just few so that I can just have this in place because we'll still be stitching this, all right? So that it will be easier to manage, okay? So just go ahead and attach your hemming gum all the way like this, then iron. So after doing that, I'm going to pin this part because I'll be going to sewing machine to stitch this part. So we're going to stitch all the way like this, only this part. So make sure that when you're stitching, you're not stitching on top of the interface. Just give it a little bit space, very little. So just go ahead and stitch, follow the shape of the interface, that is the collar stay. Just follow it like that. You see what I'm doing? Then when I get to this point, I'm just going to put a thread in between, then I will stitch. The reason I'm doing this is so that when I want to get that pointy edge of the collar, it's going to be easy. So just place it in between, then stitch, stitch. Then when you're done stitching, you move the thread inward like this. You see what I did? Then you keep stitching, stitch, stitch. So I'm going to do the same thing for the other side. That's the other pointy edge of the collar. So just stitch. Make sure you're not stitching on top of your interface, please. Because if you stitch, it won't give you any smooth turning. When you turn this over, you'll see that there'll be stress when you turn it over. So again, I'm going to get my thread and place it in between like this. Just make sure you place it in between. You saw the way I put the thread in between. So make sure you stitch very well, because if you don't stitch, the thread will not attach itself to the collar. So you see how I pass the thread. So just go ahead and stitch the other part. So this is what I have after stitching. You can see what I have. So it's time for us to trim off the excesses we have here. So do not cut your thread yet. I'll show you when to cut your thread. So just follow. Make sure you don't cut into the stitch, please. Okay. I'm just cutting. Do not leave too much allowances or too much fabric here. So we're going to go ahead and cut this part. Please make sure you notch those curved part of your collar. So now for the thread part that we attach when stitching the collar, just take note. You're going to turn your collar like this, turn your collar like this, then pull the thread, pull both thread like this. Once you get that pointy part, then you can now pull out the thread and cut. So for this other part, for some reason the thread did not attach itself there, so I'm just going to use my scissors to get that pointy part out. You can also do both depending on what works for you. So now we're going to iron these very flat. So I remembered I didn't notch the curved part, so I'm just going to go ahead and open this up and notch the curve, because if you do not notch the curved part of your collar, it's going to look funny. It won't lay flat at all. So I'm just going to open this and give it a tiny notch. Please do not cut through your thread, just tiny. Okay, so I'll repeat the same thing here. Then after I'm done, I'll just go ahead and iron this. You need to iron this thing very flat. Iron your collar very, very flat. Okay, then we'll now go to the sewing machine and do the remaining stitching on it. So we're going to go ahead and stitch all the way like this, then also stitch here. So I'm making use of a straight stitch. So all you need to do is at least stitch close to the edge, not too close. So as you're stitching, please pull back the back part of your collar so that you will not have any folding. So as I'm stitching, just follow the curve. So we'll stitch. When you stitch here, please turn this carefully. You can see what I did. So I had to slow it down. Just turn it like this, then you stitch. Just follow the shape of your collar. So this is what I have. Just cut the threads here. So the next thing we're going to do now is to iron this collar. So I'm just going to trim this lower part a bit. So we'll be folding this lower part now, okay? So I'm going to fold this in. Let me cut this excess thread. So I'm going to fold this in like this. It's going to be the same level with the first fold. So just make sure you fold it. You can use your scissors to make adjustments when necessary. So I'm just going to iron it flat like this. So I'll also do the same thing all the way. Just make sure it's the same level with the first fold. So the next we're going to do is to bring our shirt. So you'll be fixing your shirt to the collar. So we're going to get the midpoint of our shirt that's on the back. At the back, we just get the midpoint there. So we'll repeat the same thing for the collar. So you just get the midpoint. So I just notched the back part of the collar. That part we didn't add hemming gum to. So I'll just align it with the notch at the back of the shirt. Then you just arrange it like this. If you measured your neck properly before cutting your collar, you won't have any issue attaching your collar to your shirt. Okay, so just go ahead and arrange it well. Be patient with this. Do not pull your fabric, especially your shirt. Do not pull it, because another thing might be, if you have an issue when attaching your collar to your shirt, it might be that when you are attaching your collar, you were pulling your fabric, that is the shirt. And if you do so, if you're working with a semi-stretchy fabric or a stretchy fabric, it's going to add extra inches, making your perfectly cut or measured collar to seem as if it was wrongly cut or measured. Okay, so make sure you're not pulling your fabric. All right, so just go ahead and arrange it very well. So we'll be stitching this with 0.5 inch. We're stitching this back collar first. So make sure you place your collar. You see what I'm doing here? Just make sure that it aligns, that the collar aligns with the neck of your shirt. So as you're stitching, please, again, do not pull your fabric. Okay, so that you don't have issues with your collar. So just make sure there's no fold under your collar. So make adjustments. Use your hand to smoothen out the any fold that might want to form as you're stitching this. So just go ahead and stitch to the other end of your collar. Just stitch like this. And make sure when you're stitching this end here, they should align, because if as you're stitching, you will notice that this part is moving. So you have to make sure that it aligns. See what I'm doing here? So just go ahead and back stitch. So that is it for for attaching the back part of the collar to the neckline. So the next one now is this other part that we folded, that we attach hemi gum to. This like the finishing of the collar. Okay, so you want to make sure that you have everything laying flat, because you might attach the lower part of the collar perfectly, but this other part might become an issue. So you see what I'm doing? I'm going to trim off this excess I have here, then fold it in. You see what I said? If you cut your collar the right way and you attach it the right way, this won't be an issue. So you can decide to go to your table and add extra hemming gum, or just go ahead and stitch this straight. So I'm just going to stitch this. So as I'm stitching, I'm going to be pushing this in. So now you want this, your top part of your collar, to rest on the stitch of the first collar, like the back collar, the first one we attach to the neck. So make sure it's on top of the stitch. So this will make it smooth and seamless when stitching this, so that by the time you turn the back of your shirt, everything will be straight and flat and on point. That is one of the secrets of having a very flat and perfect looking collar. So make sure you use your scissors to adjust. This folded part of your collar now should be on top of the stitch. The stitch should not be below. Make sure this collar is on top. All right, so I'm just going to stitch all the way like this. So this is what I have after stitching. Let me zoom it in a bit so you can see. So we'll just fold this and iron this. I'm going to place a cover cloth over this. Like I mentioned earlier, you need your cover cloth rather. Just any piece of cloth, just so that you can iron. Don't iron this flat. So I folded this collar following that line, that stitch we have at the center of the collar. So I'm just using that to fold this. So just iron the collar first so that it can be folded, because our collar is supposed to be folded, not straight. Hope you get, not standing. So we are just going to iron all the way. And please, if your fabric is white in color, please let your cover cloth be white. Don't use any color fabric. Don't say, okay, it's off white. Make sure you're using white, because sometimes some white fabric tends to be quite sensitive. And that is how you cut and sew a professional shirt collar. If you found this helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and do not forget to subscribe. Also click on the notification bell to get notified whenever I upload new videos. So until next time, bye.